Butch and Bob Show.
World famous Butch and Bob Show here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Country Radio. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Doing well.
All right, we've got a guest on the phone. Who do we have, Bob?
It is Tuesdays with Tillery. We've got State Senator Blake Tillery on the phone. Blake, always good to talk to you here on a Tuesday. So getting close to midway through the session, I believe. It doesn't the end of this week get us halfway through, or where we stand?
Last week was halfway through. We finished day 22 yesterday. So yeah, don't make us do two more.
So you're ahead of schedule. There you go. I'm sorry, a little bit behind. So how you doing today? What's on your schedule for today?
Oh man, today's one of those days when you wish you didn't wake up. You look at the phone at 5:45 and see all the text about different stuff that we have to do today, and go, "Good Lord, what am I doing?" We're not in session today, which probably makes things a little more busy. All the county commissioners, or many of the county commissioners, are up here meeting. So they're leaving their breakfast. They left their breakfast around 7:30, and they're headed to the Capitol. We're watching them come in now. A lot of them want to talk about different stuff locally. That's great, and catch up with them. We also have the budget in. It's past the Senate now, so now the House and Senate are starting to talk about what priorities are. So that's it's a fun time. It's an exciting time. It's definitely a time where your mind's thinking about 9 different topics at once, but it's also sometimes frustrating. So I'm stuck in that frustrating time right now, and will be for the next few days. Yesterday, we passed a bill that one of my good friends here in the Senate from Forsyth County carried. It dealt with Georgia cleaning up. It was called the Red Tape Rollback Bill. A lot of people have called it Georgia Doge. Basically saying we're going to review every single regulation that comes through the state. We're going to review it every 4 years, zero it back out before we start it again, and also put some parameters around how much these things could cost and how much they were going to cost business. So that was a good bill. Had 3 others on the floor yesterday. We've passed some relief for timber and forestry folks down in our neck of the woods that related to the storm. And then yesterday with the budget, the Senate added another $125 million. We didn't actually add these funds. We pulled them from other areas, but put them towards storm relief. Put 50 towards ag and timber. We put 50 towards the local government pickup. We're still picking up trees in our area. And then we put 25 towards people who, I don't want to say they've been forgotten, but they haven't been mentioned as much as others. They're not timber. They're not farmers. They're not local governments. They're everyday citizens who, like you and me, the only thing they've got in between their bed and the outdoor elements right now is a blue tarp they were given 150 days ago. So we've set up a fund where we hope we can help those individuals too who just need some return to normalcy in life.
Again, if you're just with us on the phone, State Senator Blake Tillery, Tuesdays with Tillery. Let's go back to last Friday. Governor Kemp's top priorities legislation is the tort reform, and the senators on Friday voted 33-21 to support the legislation, but they made some concessions in exchange for the votes necessary to secure the majority. So what kind of concessions did they make?
Yeah, there was some words that came out. I think some media reported that somebody said something to the effect of if anybody voted for an amendment, that was tantamount to killing the bill. Well, 56 senators voted yes, so I guess they're going to primary all of us. And then once the amendment passed, then the bill passed pretty well. The bill probably didn't have the votes without the amendment, so it's probably a wise move to pass the amendment. It went over to the House. It's still not really what I feel very comfortable with. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that at all. There's some things that relate to timing that I think are going to clog some court systems. For instance, if you get sued, you can file a motion to dismiss, and that delays things indefinitely. In our area, we have pretty good judges, but I've been in courts before where I'm just begging someone to sign an order. So a motion to dismiss that's not signed forever could be a problematic thing. So there's some tweaks, I'm sure, that's still done. That's why it's over in the House. You look at the bill, you say, hey, listen, I can support some of this. I can help explain where my problems still lie and allow the process to move forward. But it's going to come down soon to an up or down vote. And that'll probably come sometime 38, 39, 40. And at that point in time, then there are no changes. Then we're going to get to see where everybody stands at that point in time.
Well, opponents of the bill say there's no proof insurance rates will drop. So again,
That's true.
I thought that was the purpose of the tort reform, is to make sure the insurance rates drop. So there's no guarantee of that. So what's the big push for it?
You'll have to ask the proponents of that question.
I know that State Representative Buddy Deloach, who we'll have on tomorrow, he said that just about every week is he doesn't feel that it's going to drop insurance rates. So it'll be interesting to see how this all turns out once the House gets through doing to it what they want to do to it. And then the final vote come up, like you said, on day 37, 38, 39, wherever the case may be.
Yeah, it could be earlier. Who knows? I mean, the House is in a posture right now they could potentially pass it as it is, with no amendments. Then it would not have to come back to the Senate. I don't know that they have the votes to do that right now, but we'll see. Again, it's sort of in their chamber now, their posture, and we're sitting here dealing with a few other things that relate to immigration, the state's payment of transgender surgeries that we've already pulled out, and now dealing with this debanking bill that is in Senate rules and could potentially be across the Senate floor next week. We had Marty Daniel come down last week and testify right after you and I talked. He can't testify for that bill, and that was pretty impressive to hear his story. He owns Daniel Defense over in Savannah, and he talked about getting, when the banks were saying that this doesn't happen, people don't get debanked in Georgia. He goes, well, I got debanked twice.
And so, explain to folks what debanking is.
Yeah, based on, so we saw it with Melania Trump. She's probably the most famous one. Based on people's social media posts, their beliefs, what they were doing. In Marty Daniel's case, he's a gun manufacturer, so he was selling guns. You had a lot of pressure on banks, usually big national banks, not so much local ones, that would say, hey, because of what you're doing, we don't feel safe with your social credit score, and I'm going to put that in air quotes, makes us not feel safe with your banking you any longer, and so we're going to ask you to move all your accounts.
Wow.
Well, if you're like me and you got a checking account and that's it ain't really that difficult to move your accounts. But when you're a business or someone who's selling a variety of things, moving those accounts is a whole lot more problematic, because you've got vendors who are drawing payments out, clients who are making payments in, credit card transactions, all this stuff. The testimony from Mr. Daniel was it cost him $1 million to move and restructure all those accounts both times.
Wow.
And so what we've seen is it's basically a social media cancel culture that would move into banking and say, we don't like what you're doing, so therefore we're gonna cancel what you do. My bill simply said, as long as what you're doing is legal, it's protected by the first 10 amendments, particularly the First Amendment and the Second Amendment, then you can't be debanked. And if the bank were to kick you out for you doing something that is already legal and is protected by the Constitution, then the bank is responsible and puts penalties on the bank for doing that.
That sounds good to me.
Well, we're going to try to move that through the Senate. And right now, I'm not sure that I have the votes for that. So while the tort people are worrying about their votes, I'm worrying about my votes on debanking. And if we can get that over to the House, then that'd be, I think, a pretty big move for us. Also, a bill you've heard a lot of the independent pharmacists talk about what's going on with them, where PBMs, pharmacy benefit managers, have vertically integrated. So the manufacturer of the medication, the Bayer or whoever it would be, Pfizer, then owns a pharmacy benefit manager that helps set the price for what payments, how the pills can be sold to the retail pharmacy. And there's some games there where the pharmacy benefit managers are selling the pills and medicines to their pharmacies that they own cheaper than they're selling it to independent pharmacies. So I got a bill on that too, to try to level the playing field there. It's currently in Senate rules. I'm not sure if it makes it out before crossover, David. I'm going to keep trying to push it out.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, last year it didn't pass. I was just wondering if you were getting calls from local pharmacists, because we're getting calls about that. Last session it was SB 198 addressed the issue on a state level, but due to bad fiscal estimates from the DTCH, Kemp vetoed the legislation. But pharmacists are seeking help this session as they continue to fight for fair reimbursements for independent pharmacies. They want transparency and expose unfair practices by PBMS and the harm they've inflicted on independent pharmacies, patients, taxpayers, and employees. So I guess you're getting calls for that, so you're trying to help them?
I'm not getting many calls this year, but they know where I stand. I stand with our independent pharmacists on this. The vertical integration and vertical monopoly is simply not fair. When you're CVS and you own the literally the manufacturer, the PBM, the middleman broker, and then you own the retail pharmacy, and then you're selling it to your pharmacy at $3, but selling it to the independent pharmacy at $17, and you're forcing them to take a loss every time that pill is sold. And it's a competitive practice. Listen, it's competition, but I don't think it's fair competition. We saw Teddy Roosevelt tackle these issues in the early 1900s. This is akin to the muckrakers for me.
Okay. And on the Georgia News Network this morning, they had a story on the mining around the Okefenokee and bills to stop that because they say that basically wall of land around the Okefenokee is what keeps it all in. And so your thoughts and opinions on this legislation going through the Senate and the House on the Okefenokee and stopping the mining within a certain number of miles of the swamp.
I haven't seen that legislation in the Senate yet. If it's been dropped, I need to go back and look for it. I knew it was in the House, and then again, just kind of how we break down the bills until crossover day. I don't pay as much attention to the House bills simply because I have a plethora of Senate bills to get through. Crossover day is next week, though, so after crossover day, then that model switches. You don't pay as much attention to Senate bills. You almost only pay attention to House bills.
Okay.
How's your immigration bill coming along?
It's over in the House now. Again, that bill was pretty straightforward. It said if cities and counties aren't enforcing Georgia immigration laws, that they can be sued. They waive their sovereign immunity and are responsible to citizens when bad things happen. So like in the Lake and Riley case, where that family lost a daughter because Athens Clarke County did not keep someone who they knew had previously committed a crime and was here in our country illegally, then that would potentially open up Athens Clarke County where the family could sue them and say, y'all are responsible for what happened. Has a lot of traction in the Senate, passed on a party line vote, I believe. I might have had 2 crossover votes on that bill, by the way. So it would have been bipartisan, all Republicans and 2 Democrats. And then it's now over in the House. I hope they'll pick it up and move it as well.
And just joining us on the phone, State Senator Blake Tillery. Before the session began, there was a story about drop boxes. Have you heard any much about that, where people that don't want their infant can drop it off at a fire station or a police station? You know anything about that?
About elections drop boxes?
Right. No, this is drop boxes for infants.
Oh, babies.
Right.
Gotcha. Yeah, man, you're one, I can't imagine the emotional trauma and stress that a parent would go through to be at the position to leave their infant to begin with. I'm so proud that parent chose life over the other options that they have. I mean, I wish that I could go grab every single one of the children who was left at a fire station, and I wish they could just come live with me. Anything we can do to help promote life and allow those children to know they're loved, I'm going to be a supporter of that.
So you're for the drop boxes? Like I said, I read something that some states have it, some states don't have it. So it is already in place in the state of Georgia.
Georgia, you can leave an infant at a hospital, and I think at certain fire stations. And again, the thought there is we're wanting to promote life when people are making difficult decisions. And again, I wish I had the money that I could build a house where they could all come live with me. I know Ashley Nicole would feel that way too. If it's promoting life, I'm going to be for it.
I understand that. Well, we appreciate you being here on Tuesdays. Again, for anybody that wants to get a hold of you, what's the best way to get in touch with you? I know you always give your phone number, so you can do that again.
I will tell you, we've hit the busy time. So I have 549 unanswered text messages right now, and I apologize. I'm trying to get to them.
Only 549? That's not too many.
It is a very 550, because in this second 553 right now. So,
and climbing.
it's just that time. It's that time of year, and so please feel free still to try to text me that way. I try to go through and look and see. Okay, yeah, it's someone who's local. Let me reply. You're welcome to call me or text me. It's 912-245-9915. If that isn't working for you, and I apologize in advance if it's not, feel free to call up here to the office, 404-656-0089. Angela and Emma have been great to help get things handled where you're just having a problem getting through to an agency or you got a licensing issue. As weird as it sounds, sometimes they might be better to call than me on some things. But please let me know what's going on or what you're thinking and if I can help.
Okay, Blake, always good to talk to you. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
Y'all have a good morning.
Hope your day gets better.
Yeah, yep, get better.
It will. It totally will. But it never. I have to remind myself every morning that it's never as good as I think or as bad as I think.
All right.
See you soon.
Right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
State Senator Blake Tillery here on Big Dog Country Radio, WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup, and world famous Butch and Bob show here on WIFO. We appreciate the state senator calling in here on Tuesdays with Tillery, right here on 105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Country Radio, WIFO. Well, Bob, you said it was cold up there in Atlanta on Friday night and Saturday.
I felt sorry for those poor people watching that game out in them stands. That warm press box, I felt kind of bad up there.
You felt bad, but you weren't.
I wasn't feeling too bad because it was cold up there in Emerson, Georgia. I mean, Friday night was brutal, and then Saturday the wind picked up. It was brutal for Saturday too. So it was cold temperatures. In fact, it was snowing in the fifth inning of the second game. So
wow,
that's how cold it got. So it was crazy. But they got them in.
Yeah,
ball games. All three games went quick. That was good news.
They did go quick.
Yeah, so that was good news.
Sitting here on the board, I'm glad it went too quick.
Yeah, they went quick. They were good ball games. Good pitching. I said Wayne County's pitching is awfully strong right now. 7 quality starts in 7 games. So hopefully that trend will continue. And the bullpen's done well. So we can get the bats cranked up and score 8-9 runs a game. We'll be good to go.
Yeah, and I like what the coach said afterwards. You know, you think about going into a series, if you win 2 out of 3, then you've done good. And that's what they did. They lost to Richmond Hill the first night, which Richmond Hill ended up beating everyone and winning the tournament. But we won those 2 games on Saturday. And we won 2 out of 3 and won the series in a sense. And now back home taking on who today?
Pierce County. A rematch of the first game of the season over there in Pierce. So Pierce is coming over here for the second game of they always play home and home. So Pierce is coming to our ballpark today, 6 o'clock. There's a JV game. Wayne County JV takes on Jeff Davis at 3:30. So that game, so it's kind of a JV varsity doubleheader. JV's playing extremely well, beat Vidal yesterday by a score of 11-0. So JV's been rolling pretty good as well. So if you want to see some good baseball, today's the day. But there's a lot of events taking place at Wayne County.
I know you're doing the sports there. I mean is every team playing?
Just
today?
about.
Geez.
The golf team's playing at the country club. The tennis team's hosting Savannah Christian. The soccer teams are hosting Ware County. They got a track meet with several teams coming in at 3:30. So all taking place
It's going to
here.
be a track meet out there at the track here
Right.
next to Wayne County High School. All right. That's at 3:30 today,
3:30, yeah.
All right.
And they
Go
got
Wayne County.
They got a school board meeting at 6. So there's a bunch going on in Wayne County with the school system.
That's right. Lots going on. So just pick your favorite sport or two and go out there and support the Yellow Jackets today. And just about any sport that you can think of, they're playing in spring. They got it going on today here in Wayne County. But we encourage you to get out there and support those Jackets. Baseball today, 6 o'clock. Wayne County, Pierce County, another border war game.
Yeah. Should be a good game. It's a good game over there. Should be another good game. They got a good baseball team. So.
Yeah.
But like I said, I like that they were playing good competition. It helps us get ready for the region and state events. So good competition. They've been good games. And like I said, right now 6-1, looking to go 7-1 tonight against Pierce County. So it should be a good crowd out there tonight.
It'll be a beautiful day. By the time this afternoon gets here, it's just going to be gorgeous.
And tomorrow,
low 70s, sunshine.
Tomorrow at home as well, Southeast Bullock at 6 o'clock, and then Friday down in Brunswick taking on the Pirates. So it's a 3-game week for the baseball team this week.
3 games this week, huh? So tonight, tomorrow night, and then Friday.
All right.
Okay. Sounds good.
And I checked with the country club. There's still a few spots left if you want to get into the annual Winter Blues Golf Tournament. Again, it's a 27-hole one-day event, 18-hole scramble, then 9-hole best ball after lunch. They got a nice lunch served after the 18 holes. So forecast looks excellent.
Sunny 74. Can't
probably-
beat that.
I can't remember the last time the Winter Blues had that kind of weather.
I know, it's always like, you know,
it's always been
It's
windy.
been a winter tournament, yeah, but
That's
this is
why they
sunny
call
and
it-
74
That's why
on
they call it the
Saturday.
Winter Blues, but this looks like a nice weekend for the golfers.
It's
so
going to be gorgeous Saturday. Gorgeous.
it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
So hopefully my teammates will play well.
Okay.
Looking forward to it. But again, still a few spots left. 427-6505 is the number for the pro shop if you're interested in getting your team in before the weekend. It's filling up fast.
Filling up fast, huh?
Should be a good. People are looking at that forecast saying, "Hey, let me sign up."
Someone texted in and said the middle school golf team plays today, not the high school. The high school plays on Thursday at Pine Forest. Is that correct, Bob?
The schedule I got says the high school golf team's
The
playing.
middle
so-
school golf team plays today, not the high school. The high school plays on Thursday at Pine Forest. You might want to double check on that. Just looking at some text messages that came in here while we're talking to Blake. And I didn't get these. Wasn't able to read these while he was on the air with us. Okay. Some text messages I have no idea what they're talking about, and some I wish I'd looked at these while Blake was on, but I just wasn't able to.
Well, that's why the good news, he gives his number out. They can get a hold of him.
That's right. They can get a hold of him, and if you didn't get any of those numbers, all you got to do is just look up Senator Blake Tillery, and they'll have his office number up there, and you can get a hold of him that way and talk to the folks up there in the office if you need to.
And Kylie was scheduled to be in today, but again, she called. She's under the weather, so we wish her well. Hope she feels better soon.
There's a lot of folks sick
sickness
out
going
there.
on.
Let me tell you,
Yeah.
they said, been reading stuff and hearing stuff about how this flu season has been just one of the worst in a long time. Not, taking COVID away, talking about just regular old flu. That has been one of the worst seasons ever in a long time. And, a lot of folks don't get those flu shots, and some of them probably think, I should have got that thing.
I got the flu shot, still got it.
You still got it? You got the flu shot and still got it?
Right,
That must have been a different strain then. I guess they don't have flu shots for all of them, huh?
No, I can suggest go see your doctor. Because once I saw my doctor,
Yeah.
things got
We
better.
tried to get you to go, but you
I
wouldn't
know.
go. You're like the rest of us guys, We have to go crawling in half dead before we go see a doctor,
I got that lecture. I was like, doc, you think you get that over-the-counter medication, help out, you don't think it's that serious, but when you lay in bed for 4 or 5 days and you realize it's serious.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
So then you go see the doctor and he gives you the lecture, and at least he gives you the shot and some pills and help you out. So.
I was talking to someone yesterday, and he's got COVID, and his partner's got flu. And so just so many people sick right now. And just, be careful. Do the things you did when we were trying to cut back on COVID, wash the hands and wipe down services and things of that sort and try to stay away from people who are sick if you possibly can.
And you can wish the rec basketball teams, a couple of recreation basketball teams in the district play today over in Douglas. Wish them the best of luck. Hopefully they can win that district championship and get to state.
All right.
All those teams in action this week. Some are in action today, some tomorrow, some Friday. So got about 5 all-star teams in recreation basketball taking part in that tournament up there in Douglas. So wish them the best.
Okay. All right.
And
Sounds
safe
good.
and safe travels.
All right. Oh, I got this in today, Bob, or yesterday in mail. It says, "Are you ready to roll?" It's got Ugga on the ground rolling around with his red sweater on out there on green grass. It says, "Happy half birthday." See, University of Georgia keeps up with you every step of the way, Bob. They know that I'm 70 and a half now.
And there you go.
I'm 70 and a half. It says, beginning at 70, and this is from University of Georgia now, a little postcard type thing. It says, beginning at 70 and a half, you are allowed to contribute up to $100,000 from your IRA account to a qualified charity, which, of course, they're thinking UGA. When you make a qualified charitable deduction, your gift goes directly to the IRA account to the charity, and you avoid paying income or capital tax on this distribution. With the with the charitable with the qualified charitable distribution, the QCD, you can make a transformational gift at the University of Georgia to avoid a bit of taxes. It's a win-win.
They just want your money.
They just want my money. They ask for my money every month, Bob. Every month, either in postcards or in emails.
Why don't you call back and ask if you make that donation, get 2 tickets to the Georgia-Alabama game? At least get something. You should get something for the donation. I mean, come on. Come on, Athens. Help
I just
out.
think it's amazing that
They know
that I'm 70 and a half now. They've kept up with me from the day I got there to the day I graduated to from whatever I was then, 22, whatever it was, until now I'm 70 and a half, and they still keep up with me.
They just want your money. They keep up with everybody.
They want my money. It's always about the money.
I told them they got all that money in tuition.
You haven't given any money since you graduated, have you?
No.
No.
They got all that tuition money I had to pay back. I had to pay my student loan back.
Yeah, I had to pay my student loan back too.
Nobody
I didn't
gave,
have no president saying, we're going to just let it ride.
Sleepy Joe didn't send me no check.
No. American National Bank, they wanted their money back.
That's right. They all want their money back.
I just thought it was amazing. I graduated back in August of 1976. And next thing you know, a few weeks later, I get this coupon book in the mail from American National Bank. I called my dad up and said, "What's this about?" He says, "That's that student loan you got when you were a freshman." I thought you paid that, Dad. He said, "No, I just signed it.
Right.
You pay it back." Surprise, surprise, surprise. And I paid it back. I didn't look to the government to pay it back for me. I paid it back.
Paid mine back as well, but it was painful.
Yeah.
You're right out of college, just got a job.
Just getting a job.
That's the last thing you want to see in the mail. I'm like, what is this?
Now, I didn't have a whole bunch of debt when I graduated because I worked during most of my time period. When I was at the University of Georgia, I worked for WJSR Rockin' 104. And then when I came home in the summer times, I worked out here at the station and stuff like that. And then my senior year, when I was married, I was in family housing and worked in the maintenance department there at family housing. So I worked most of the time I was there. So I only had to borrow that one time when I first started off as a freshman. And so I didn't have to continue to borrow each year, just that 1 year. But American National Bank kept up with it, man. When I graduated, they knew it, and they sent the coupon book.
Show me the money.
Show me the money. We want our money back.
Right, we want the money.
So that's 4 years ago. Y'all still want it back? Yeah, we do. All right, Bob, anything else this morning?
Yeah, that's about it.
All right, have a good day. All right, the world-famous Butch and Bob Show here on WIFO, 105.5 FM in Jesup. And the world-famous Butch and Bob Show has been brought to you by Heron Aldridge Insurance, by Murphy Builder Supply, First Southern Bank, and by the Service Department at GNS Auto Sales.